14:10.
Are you on the clock? Oh, it's coming down. It's gonna hit me.
Sloth ball is extra dangly right now.
How much do you get paid?
Ah! Oh.
It is brand. Ah! Alright, here's our project. It's gonna be a 5 by 49 foot wharf. We've got our batter board, batter pile on each end, showing the parameters of this pier. The surveyor came out and put these two PVC poles in to mark where the boat lift is, so that was our reference, but it's perpendicular off of his bulkhead, 5 by 17, and then 5 by 49. So what we do is, start with a survey point in the yard for our frame of reference, find our next point, and then we have pieces of electrical tape everywhere pile goes. So on this one it's 7-foot centers, so we're getting ready to start driving piles.
Alright, now you can see that we got all of the piles in, and we use a laser level to mark the stringer elevation on each pile. That way we can frame from one end of the wharf to the other and get the whole thing perfectly level. Typically we'd have our guys frame off one of those floats like you can see to the left, but we battled super high tides all week while we were building this thing, so the fellas had to get in waders. Now the coolest part of this project is the Thruflow decking that we used. Thruflow is a perforated PVC panel that allows water to surge up through the decking in storms or high tides. Perforation also keeps the decking super cool underfoot, making it a great option compared to normal composite decking or even pine 2x6s.
If you're wondering what Thruflow decking is, here's an example. So this is a 5-foot panel. It's 5 feet this way, it's 1 foot that way, 1 inch tall. It's got these grooves in it. So the wetlands board likes it because grass can protrude up through it and grow, and sunlight can penetrate it through the top. It also helps really well in areas that are prone to storms because the water can come up through it without trying to float the decking off of a pier. So this definitely has its advantages. Its disadvantages, it is the most expensive product compared to pine and composite, and you can't cut it. So your framing has to be incredibly square and true, and you have to really take your time on your layout. First one went in, we decided to go with this one instead of that one. So now our overhead beam, which is the upper beam that holds the cables and everything, we have an outside to outside measurement, and then we cheated in an inch. So we have our next mark right here of where this is going. So the pile will go right here, and then we have our first 2 in.
Here we have Austin, Alex, and Jared calling the pile as Colin drives it into place. And you'll notice we keep pulling the pile back up out of the mud, and that's because we need to get it absolutely perfect for the overhead beams that are going to go on top of them to support the boat lift.
Alright, second one went in. So now what we do is we're going to take a string line off of this one, square around that one, and call this the batter pile. The boys are about to mount the batter board. So it's the same thing with the foundation of a house. You square off of it and find your control So we use timber lock screws to hold this thing in place.
After all the boat lift piles are in, we fly in the boat lift overhead beams. As you can see, we have already attached the gear plates as well as the motors to the overhead beam. After the overhead beams are set up, it's time for the cradle beams that actually lift the boat out of the water. In the middle of those cradle beams, you can see two brackets. Those are for the wooden bunks that will attach next, and the boat will sit right on top of those as it's picked up out of the water.
Here's the finished product. Just finished the bench, custom bench with a pretty sweet view looking out right there. So an 8-foot addition to this pier. Here it is. Nice beefy 16K boat lift. And this beautiful Thruflow decking. It's 5x12 and then 5 by about 50. So we just finished it off. He's got his cleats, shiny new rub rail.
Thanks for taking a minute to watch. I know we glazed over a lot of the different tasks in this video, but we hope to share more in-depth aspects of some of our projects we have coming up in the future. If you're in the Virginia Beach area, learn more about what we could build for you at colinmarine.com.